What's good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Moth, and today I'm gonna hit y'all with a review of the new Vince Staples album entitled Ramona Park Broke My Heart. Let's get to it. Vince Staples, he's an artist who I can respect as a newer voice representing the West Coast, but I can't say that I listen to him regularly, although I have heard at least 75% of his project. My introduction to Vince Staples came by the way of his Stolen Youth album produced by Mac Miller. I thought the follow-up, Hell Can Wait, had some bangers and was a cool EP overall. But I remember being most impressed by his Def Jam debut, Summer '06, which I consider to be a very consistent and strong double album. I also recall not having the desire to want to hear his Big Fish Theory album because by this point he was being embraced too heavily by the pretentious Pitchfork crowd. But I did decide to listen to FM, which I thought was mostly good. Unfortunately, however, I wasn't really feeling his self-titled project from last year. And that brings us to this new project, Ramona Park Broke My Heart. I had heard some good things about it, which made me curious to want to check it out. And also the title really grabbed my attention. This album is essentially Vince's love letter to the streets. It's a conceptual project that highlights his experiences coming up in Compton and Long Beach. Murders, gang violence, making money, and just the harsh realities coming from the hood. It's not exactly new territory for Vince, but it's presented in a more creative and cohesive way this time around. We have 16 tracks lasting a total of 41 minutes. The only features are Lil Baby and Ty Dolla Sign. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with this track by track breakdown. This thing kicks off with The Beach. It's a cinematic opener that really sets the tone. Now, despite the chill and blissful instrumental, you can just feel the tension building as the track ends abruptly with gunfire. It's almost like he's reminding folks to not let the palm trees, the beach life, and the sunny LA skies fool you, because it can and it will go down in a split second. This seamlessly bleeds into track 2 entitled A, Free the Homies, which has a lush and wavy G-Funk beat. It's ultra smooth sonically, but there's a slight melancholy to it as well. Here, he's embracing all the elements of the street life that made him the man he is today, and he's pretty unapologetic about it and even a little ruthless. I did enjoy the hook, If I Had One Wish, I'd Free the Homies, because it was catchy and heartfelt. Track 3, DJ Quik honors the West Coast rapper and producer legend. I thought it was dope that Vince gave DJ Quik his flowers because, let's face it, DJ Quik doesn't seem to get the props that he should when people discuss West Coast rap goats. Now, this does sample vocals from DJ Quik's classic Dollars and Cents diss track from '94, and DJ Quik actually appears to do some scratching on this track. Although instrumentally, this favors more of an atmospheric trap or chopped and screw sound than it does G-Funk. But I like this record a lot, and I feel it succeeds in effectively merging contemporary and traditional West Coast sounds, so I do have this as one of the highlights. Track 4, Magic, has a satiny G-Funk beat by DJ Mustard. It's a smooth banger that epitomizes that Cali sound. I love how they sprinkled in a portion of the sample from Ice Cube's You Know How We Do It. It's just a subtle sample detail that took this track to the next level for me, as it was just oozing with that nostalgia. But this one is a perseverance anthem about making something out of nothing. And when you do that, it's magic. Right after, we get the interlude Nameless, which has a clip of a young kid talking about how bullets don't have any names. And it plays right into the theme of this album of children having to grow up cold-hearted. This transitions smartly into When Sparks Fly. Here, Vince is in his storytelling, metaphor-heavy bag, channeling a Nas or a Common. So on a first listen, one might be tempted to think that it's just a standard relationship track. But if you pay careful attention, you can tell it's a love story about a gun, a hammer. Now, this isn't the first time that an artist has rapped from the perspective of a gun, but this easily contains Vince's best and most compelling writing on this project. Another really dope thing about this track is the production, which has an unlikely combo of a chill R&B sample and Mobb Deep's drums from More Chife Life. Yeah, the Mobb Deep drum pattern was straight out of left field, but it came together nicely for this record. This is followed up by East Point Prayer featuring Lil Baby. So with this track, I like the mellow piano trap production we got from Kenny Beats. There was somewhat of a gospel feel to it as well, which I dug. However, I really didn't care for Vince's comatose delivery here. I get that he loves the slower flow these days. That's his thing now. But he sounded as sleepy as Bodie James at his sleepiest, which is a recipe for disaster if you're driving long distance on the highway. Not good. The subsequent track, Slide, has a melodic West Coast trap beat that Vince slides on while talking about sliding on his ops. It's only one verse and a hook that sonically I have no issues with, as it's all about a vibe and a melody with this song. After this is Papercuts, produced by DJ Dahi. It's a smooth, money-making anthem that has an intoxicating and trippy sample. This beat, I feel, was screaming for a Schoolboy Q or J-Rock feature. It's just one of my favorite instrumentals on the album. I also like when Vince said, "The streets never love you back, but you don't know until you leave. Always looking for a bag, never had time to grieve." I thought the looking for a bag, never having time to grieve line was dope because it addresses how some folks in the streets never get a chance to heal after the trauma from gun violence. The sad reality is people have to chase the bag in order to survive, but in the process, your feelings and emotions can get suppressed. It's a vicious cycle. Next is Lemonade with Ty Dolla Sign. It's your standard breezy and summertime banger. Surprisingly, Ty Dolla Sign isn't on this hook, but I feel he should have. So while the vibe is sunny and feel good, I doubt I'll revisit this one honestly, as there was nothing too memorable about it, but I could see why some folks might really dig it. Track 11, Player Ways, has a syrupy and serene backdrop. Now here, Vince is doing some storytelling, talking about his player ways. He's keeping it funky and letting the women know that he has no plans of a relationship. This is followed by Mama's Boy, where we get a slightly somber beat, but it's still very chill and West Coast inspired. There is an interpolation of Outkast's Miss Jackson at the beginning, which was cool. On this one, Vince talks about loving the game and the streets just as much as he loves his mama. And there was something about the hook that for some reason was giving me some TDE vibes. I think it was the on my mama part. Track 13, Bang That, has a glossy trap beat produced by Mustard, Cardo, and Johnny Giuliano. It was a little more up-tempo with a melodic bounce. I dug Vince's matter of fact and cold-blooded lines. Stay woke, stay strapped, hang obituaries, I don't hang plaques. Then there is the Spirit of Monster Cody interlude that contains an interview of Cody Scott speaking on his book about Crippin', which became an unexpected bestseller. It's another layer that ties into the album's strong West Coast and gangbanging theme. The second to last track is the single Rose Street, which has a bouncy, atmospheric beat where Vince raps with a little more enthusiasm. So I like when he's doing this. He speaks on being married to money and the gang life, so his street matrimony supersedes any potential relationship that he could have with a woman, as he details on the line, only bringing flowers to homies' graves. I mean, I can respect it. The man has a code. Doesn't care how good you look, you're not getting any flowers. Then the album comes to a conclusion with The Blues, which ends the project on a bleak but reality-based note. Now, instrumentally, the beat feels like a gloomier version of the opener. Vince has resigned himself to accepting this way of life, as he states, heart broke, but your ego's still intact. He also repeats, money made me numb, about 8 times, but All in all, this was a dope closing record that really got to the essence of the album's theme. Overall, I'll give this project a rating of 3.5 mics. I think it's a dope conceptual project that does show more creativity than your average release that deals with similar topics. I feel the concept was executed fairly well. Now, it might not have been as epic or done as masterfully as someone like a Kendrick or Cole could have done, but I feel his message still hits home. We are getting some introspection and thought-provoking lines throughout, which is always a good thing. As far as the production was concerned, it was consistently West Coast and very laid back, which made for a very cohesive listen. The flip side to that, however, was that there wasn't a lot of variety to the beats, in that the majority of them were super chill, which isn't inherently a bad thing. But there wasn't much of a balance to be found instrumentally. And I feel that an aggressive banger or two would have really injected more life into this album. Or it could have also been that Vince used the slow flow primarily throughout this album, which sometimes I didn't mind it at all. But I would have preferred him using a punchier delivery here and there, as there were a couple tracks where I assumed he was on lean because his energy was so low. That being said, if you are looking for something ultra laid back that's going to bring you into the summer months, something that you could cruise to with the top down or pull up to the cookout with, or something that'll make you feel like you're cruising through the streets of the LBC, that look no further than this project. My favorite tracks include A, Free the Homies, DJ Quik, Magic, When Sparks Fly, Papercuts, Mama's Boy, and Rose Street. Let me know what you thought about this album in the comment section below. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. Vince Staples, Ramona Park, Broke My Heart, Juan.